Welcome back to the In Good Kompany podcast on behalf of Manchester TV, of course, for the local TV network. We're a bit light on numbers again this week, guys, but we've got the two main hoppos here. That's all we need to do, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk about a game that's just happened, and we're going to talk about a couple of games. So I've got an interesting Bohemian Rhapsody vibe with this game yesterday, Stuart. I don't know if you saw the programme, but of the old Bohemian Rhapsody image there on the front. Very, I don't know who Freddie Mercury is supposed to be, in all fairness, with that one.
I know. Yeah, no, I didn't see the programme. My lad collects them, but he hadn't had one for a couple of games because he holds off on it because a few of our mates go in the corporate sometimes, and they always say we've got a free program, so he tries not to buy them now because he knows he can get them for free because he saves his spends.
Well, yeah, the program was I don't know if I like it or not. It's all right. I suppose it's Edison's Freddie Mercury. I don't know how we'd appreciate that, in all fairness. Right, we're going to talk first. Manchester City 4. That other rabble, we don't call them. We'll just call them United. We're not going to call them Manchester United. It could be anything really.
Nah.
1, Stuart. What's your little thoughts on the game? Just as a brief sum up before we go in more detail. What did you think at the end of it?
At the end, I thought City were excellent, but first half, after we started real quick, got the early goal, and I thought this is it. We're rolling for a big one, and then I thought City panicked a bit after we'd scored. And United seemed to get the impetus and they started running it, and then they got their goal, and it was a bit like, oh no, it's going to be nervy now. But then I thought second half we really just took them to the cleaners. I thought. Yeah,
I mean they give as good as they got the first half. It's only up to the third. I think up to that interruption we had, for the guy who collapsed in.
Oh yeah, that wasn't near me. That.
Yeah, and obviously we saw lots of. We thought it was a United fan in the City end at first, and everyone. And then obviously they realised it was something a bit more serious. And I think up to that stage, I think, in all fairness, United give as good as they got, and just looked as likely to score as we did. Perhaps not as intense as us, but obviously we did see little snippets of even Pogba. Even Pogba was able to play a couple of nice balls, which we'll talk about a bit. But like you, I don't know what Rangnick said to him at half time. I think he had to inform the team that the team dog had died or something, though, because they came out totally deflated for that second half, and City just upped the game and took total control, even at 2-1, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't even at 3-1, at 2-1. It was just United weren't getting anywhere, and I think it was such a disappointing second half for United and for the fans, of course. So we will go into a little bit more detail, but a thoroughly deserved 4-1. It could have been 5-6, 7-1 for me by the end of the game. I think we were that much in control.
I'm glad it wasn't. I had a fiver on 4-1, so the last kick of the game.
I did have both teams to score, so at least I got that. At least that wasn't too bad.
Praying for VAR, the only time I've ever like, come on VAR, come on.
Right, let's have a look at the team, Stuart. Let me know what you think of this City team. Obviously, I did a prediction in my little show, and I got 10 of the 11. I'll be honest with you, the one that wasn't right, I was dead chuffed because I only didn't pick him because I thought Pep wouldn't pick him. So let me know your thoughts. Anyway, I'll tell you who the players, you probably know anyway as we go through it. Edison, Walker, Laporte, Stones, Cancelo, Rodri, Bernardo, KDB, Foden, Grealish, and Mahrez. And what are your initial thoughts on that, mate?
So me and my lad do a podcast as well, and we had predicted it on our little show, and we got virtually everything right, but we said ours weren't right, and we had Jesus in instead of Mahrez. But I said to him on there, I think it'll be either Jesus or Mahrez. I wasn't too disappointed with the team. I thought the team was super strong, and like Mahrez, I like him. I didn't like him at first when he come, but I really rate him now. So
I think he's grown on a few City fans over the last 12 months.
Really upped his game, and he played well yesterday. So yeah.
Well, my exception, mate, when I actually did my preview, I said I think Sterling will play because he's Pep's boy, and I think he will play. But I wanted Grealish to play. But when I did pick my team, my 11, I actually stuck Sterling in because I thought Pep would pick him, not because I wanted him to play. I just tried to put Pep's head on. I've got the right sort of hair coverage, but not much else. So he was my surprise. I was dead chuffed when Grealish, because I actually said I thought Grealish, I'd love it. I thought Grealish would love this game against United. I've always banged the drum for Grealish anyway, and I just thought this was a sort of game where he would thoroughly enjoy it against not the greatest defence United. In all fairness, the keeper's not bad sometimes, but not great. So yeah, that was my only thought. Looking at the United team, a big surprise was no Ronaldo, but he was apparently injured. Whether that's true or not, he pleases himself from what I can see. What do you think?
On the beach. On the beach, he went to Portugal. They were saying, I read on social media that there was nothing wrong with him. He just decided he didn't want to be on the bench, so he wasn't playing. But who knows what the truth is?
He's supposed to have had a niggle, wasn't he? Supposed to have a niggle, and obviously, and as you do, just swan off to Portugal. Just don't worry about coming back for training or anything like that. God forbid you didn't put any work in. I mean, that's just not how it's done, is it, these days? So let's have a look at their team then. It was Mr. De Gea or De Gea or however you pronounce it. I'll call him De Gea. It comes off the lips easier than De Gea.
That's what I call it.
Telles, Maguire, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka. He got a nice shoulder charge off Foden, didn't he, during the game? It's such a shame that didn't end in a goal. That would have been superb if that had ended in a goal. Fred, McTominay, the old combination there. Sancho, obviously ex-City player. I thought he was probably one of their better players on the day, Sancho. Pogba even managed a couple of things. Elanga? I was looking forward to seeing him. Yeah, because he's looked quite good on the snippets I've seen on Match of the Day. I don't know what it's like in a full game. And of course, Fernandes was up top, wasn't he? Old Bruno was the main guy, wasn't he, up top? So what do you think of that team? What do you think of United's team?
I was surprised Elanga was in and not Rashford, if I'm honest. I thought Rashford would have started, and he normally scores against us as well, doesn't he? I think he scored a few against us, in the past. So I was surprised that Rashford wasn't playing, and then today's news is all saying he's unsettled and he wants out. But who knows? Again, it's like they're the best, aren't they, at the minute? But it's a decent side, isn't it? If on paper, that's like a decent side. You got Wan-Bissaka and Maguire, cost 130 million between them. So they should be decent defenders.
The fridge freezer, someone called him on TalkSport last night. Maguire, the fridge freezer. Yeah, I think he had his door open a couple of times yesterday, didn't he? They were going through his legs and things. That was interesting.
Bouncing off him and all sorts.
Well, we didn't have to. I mean, last year, I don't know if you remember, mate, in the obviously COVID, there was no fans in the ground, but it was a couple of minutes when United got a penalty, obviously. Jesus made a bit of a rick, if you remember rightly, and they were ahead after 2 minutes. But took us a bit longer, but probably our first attack. Do you remember much about it down that left-hand side where we were sort of going mad at that? I mean, Bernardo was over there. Obviously, Cancelo was running up there. Obviously, Grealish was over there. That left-hand side, Bernardo was tormenting the United even from the very, very first minutes. Do you remember much about the goal?
I just know that De Bruyne slotted it away nicely. I think that was the first one that went through Maguire's legs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From the edge,
Grealish did some great work. He did some great little link up with Bernardo. And Bernardo did one of those passes back across the 6-yard box that you don't know if he knew KDB was there or he didn't. He just put it into a danger area. And obviously the market of United was pretty. I mean, they had plenty of bodies in the box and they did all game, but they didn't seem to actually like us with our zonal marking the other week against Tottenham. We were in the zones, but we weren't paying any attention to the guys that were in the zones.
De Bruyne seemed to be stood on his own, and he could have probably done a couple of kick-ups before anyone had got near to him, but he just hit it and it went in, and it was an excellent goal, quality start to the game. But it's like you were saying before, like we've seen being in them positions before, and they would have controlled it and tried to pass it again to someone in the box. Whereas yesterday, they just was like, no, we're going to just smack it, and here we go, and we're having a go because these are not any good at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, United did come back. I think Ederson made his first save about 8 minutes from a Fred chance. That was cleared by Grealish, believe it or not. That shows how much teamwork was going in the game yesterday. Grealish was back helping the defence out as well. It was almost 2-0 on 18 minutes. I don't know if you remember, obviously, that was where Foden got manhandled by Maguire in the box.
Oh, well, we should have had a penalty.
For KDB. And I've not watched that back, Stuart. Have you had a chance to watch that back? Did it look like a penalty?
I saw a clip of it, and it just looks like he throws him to the ground. But I am biased, obviously. But
Foden threw the fridge freezer to the ground. Yeah,
it's not like a coming together and they shoulder barge each other. He's got hold of him and he drops him on the floor. Now, whether the ref will say, well, they've got hold of each other and they're on each other's shirts, I don't know. But he did, to me,
well, you have to think VAR had a look at it, and obviously VAR decided it was 6 of one of half a dozen of another by the looks of it. But I think Foden tormented Maguire all game for the size of him. He was just like a little pest. He just like a little Jack Russell, sort of biting his ankles, biting around him. I think he did that for most of the game. But obviously we're still 1-0 up. But it wasn't long halfway through the first half, 22 minutes. Probably, I think they'd had a couple of half chances, but we seemed a bit caught out at the back. Pogba played a great ball through to Sancho, who seemed to sort of be on his own, but obviously Walker was there, so we know Walker's pace. He had the pace to get back. But interesting decision by Walker. Do you remember what he sort of did when he got to the edge of the box, Walker? He sort of left him. Do you remember that? He left Sancho alone to follow Bruno.
Just sort of did nothing. Like, I think he thought he's going to pass it, but he didn't. He just took a touch and went into the middle of the box.
That's right. Because he followed Bruno. He sort of, I think he knew there was a couple of City guys behind him to sort of pick up Sanchez. But obviously, he literally just left Sanchez and just went to Mark Bruno, and obviously that gave Sanchez just that little split second to actually control the ball. A great goal, Stuart, from the
he took it really well. Yeah, he did take it really well. And I think. In that little period, there was a few times where we sort of got caught out and we was wide open on one side of the pitch at the back. And I was so nervous at the time. I thought, this is going to go so wrong if they keep doing that. Can't give them loads of chances. We know they're not great, but it's just like we'd overpowered one side and was like trying to threaten them down one way, but then they could just counter and be on the other side of the pitch. And there was nobody did that. There was nobody there for large portions of it.
Yeah. Well, it brought the United fans to life. I hadn't heard much of them, and I was standing next to them during up to that point. Obviously, it's 1-1. I would honestly say probably deserved at that stage. I don't think we deserved to be leading the game anyway, but it was only about 6 minutes later where we've got another KDB effort that ends up in the back of the net. And again, another one where City players, for some reason, are smacking the ball at the first attempt. They're not messing about. They're getting the shots in on target. And there was like one shot. If you remember, it was a Foden shot that was superbly saved. He did that little clip over into the box. Yeah. Absolutely superb.
It would have been such a good goal. It would have been if it had gone in, it would have been a great goal.
Absolutely. I mean, that would have been replayed time and time again. And De Gea, all credit to him, made a very, very good save. Yeah. And then it fell to Bernardo. He did his usual sort of side volley thing, didn't he? Where he sort of goes to his side and volleys it with his left foot. And that was blocked. And then it just hit someone's knee. Again, if you've got players in the this is the thing. If you've got defenders in the box and you've got attackers or midfielders in the box, in our case, you are going to get the deflections, aren't you, Stuart? I mean, this is what we should do more. Get those first shots in, and if they're not saved and held, which they're not, they're going to be absolutely slammed into the a keeper's going to have to be really good to hold on to them, obviously. And it sort of fell to KDB. He didn't mess about with it, but he didn't hit it first time either. He casually took a little touch, didn't he, before he smashed it in? Did you notice that?
Yeah, unlike his first one, I think he took the extra touch and then clattered it in. But
I think he needed that touch.
Bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, he saw the space in the goal. I think he just needed that touch just to make sure it was there for him to place it, just to smash it in that corner. De Gea had no chance with it, in all fairness. A superb goal, superb by KDB. I call it like pinball in the box. Interesting, just before we carry on, I was just on a thing before. We're talking about Mahrez made a comment about De Gea. I'll call him De Gea, whichever. And he said he knows that he's not as good high up. So he deliberately, we'll talk about his goal later, but he deliberately tries to shoot high because he's not very good high. And if you think about Aguero's goals against De Gea, they're quite close up. Well, they're always in the roof of the net, weren't they? So is that a fault with De Gea? Do you think that he's better on the ground than he is sort of reacting to something a little bit up in the air?
Possibly, he might have the opposite of Joe Hart.
Yeah.
Which Joe Hart was always a bit weaker low and left, wasn't he?
Yeah.
If he went low and left towards the end of his time at City, he was more or less.
I just remember images. I remember images of De Gea like that. You know, when Sergio's scored his goals, he does struggle a little. If it's overhead height, he does seem to sort of struggle if it's close in. From range, of course, he's not bad, is he? He can get up and get across and save, but he doesn't have that time to. Bit like Seaman. Remember David Seaman against Ryan Giggs in that famous semi-final, Arsenal against United.
Vaguely.
Yeah, he literally. I mean, all Giggs had to do was shoot it high, and Seaman sort of stuck under it. He was just under it for a big bloke. He just sort of crouched down, and it was, everyone raves over it, but it was Seaman. He was an absolute idiot. If he just stood up, it would have hit him in the face. He wouldn't have got it, and that's probably the thing. But perhaps De Gea is worried about hitting him in the face. Perhaps that's the problem. So I haven't got much really after that goal, mate, for the rest of the half. A couple of half chances. Mara had a half chance. Stones blocked a United effort just before half time when it's only 3 minutes injury time. So we sorted that medical emergency out very quickly, didn't we? Most clubs are off the pitch for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We got in there, got him out within 3 minutes. That's not bad going, is it? And hopefully he's all right. I know he's in hospital last night. I've not heard anything since.
Yeah, we had the medical break, and I saw that as the most apt time to get to the bar. So I thought, it's going to be half time. Let's get to the bar. This guy's going to take forever.
Well, I think everyone agreed then.
Because I meet the queues.
I mean, the atmosphere. Yeah. I mean, the atmosphere died. It totally died. It was absolute rubbish till half time. In all fairness, so from all the noise that had been made in that first half after that incident, a lot of people took advantage, went to the toilet, went and thought, I'll have a beer while I'm back here, sort of thing, and that sort of more or less covered the first half at 2-1. I don't think either team really looked like United didn't look like getting an equaliser. City didn't look like getting a third one. So we'll go on to the second half, mate. What happened? What happened to United? What happened? They suddenly disappeared in that second half. What words of inspiration did Rangnick sort of say to him to stop them coming out and doing anything? I know City played very well, don't get me wrong, but United just collapsed, didn't they?
I don't know if it's a fitness thing, Joe, because he's mad on this press, whatever he wants to call it, where he wants them to press, but
yeah,
under Solskjaer and they weren't pressing. So whether it's because they've done a lot of running first half and they didn't have a lot of the ball, so they're going to be chasing around. Maybe they're just tired. Maybe they can't do it for 90 minutes and that's it. And they just faded and we just took full advantage, passed it around them. I think at one point I've seen a graphic that said we had 92% possession.
Yeah, was it 15 minutes, 92% possession, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we did. There was a swagger back to our play. I've not seen that for a little while, in all fairness.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even at 2-1, I mean, it wasn't dead and buried, but even at 2-1, we had that confidence that, yeah, they're not going to get anywhere near our goal, so we don't have to worry. We can control this game and perhaps add another. And we did, of course. I think Mahrez had one sort of what do you call him? A tester where he blasted it over the bar from a KDB free kick or something. I remember it coming across from KDB. Yeah. And then obviously, we were working on set pieces, Stuart. I mean, at last we've got a backroom team there that actually works on set pieces and does various things. Because that obviously we've seen a lot of goals from corners all of a sudden, which we never used to see. And the amount of corners we used to get as an attacking team, it seemed ridiculous that we didn't do better in corners. So finally, we're actually employing someone to actually look at it and do little moves. And it was a great cross from KDB. Just talk us through Mahrez's little side-footed volley. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's again, like you say, it's come out to him on the edge of the box, and rather than him try to take a touch and pass it into Silva or someone, he's just had a go on it, which is, like we said, it's not something they do a great deal of, but they've done it like to perfection this weekend. So hopefully they continue to do it. Yeah, it's just come to him and he's just hits it, and it's gone in. Like I said, it's gone high.
Well, again, there was bodies in the box, and again, it took a deflection because obviously, I think Maguire's knee? It took a slight deflection because I think looking at how De Gea had died, I think he probably would have covered Mahrez's shot if it hadn't took the deflection. I think he had actually had it covered. So again, get bodies in the box, get the shots in first time, as you say. That another one where Mahrez could have easily just tried to control it and actually do something with it, but he hit it first time, and I think this is something. Hopefully, until we get a striker, perhaps we're being told to do that. Perhaps there's a change in the thinking behind what we're doing now, which is great to see. And at 3-1, I mean, at 2-1, it was dead. The game was dead. It buried. Yeah, because United rubbish. At 3-1, there was no response. I think Rashford come on after that goal?
Rashford came on, yeah.
Yeah, I think he had a couple of little runs. You think if he'd been on the whole game, he might have caused us a few more problems because he got stopped, but at least he tried, which is more than the guys. I think Lingard came on, but I didn't even notice him. I didn't even know he'd come on until I read the report. And obviously, I think the City fans were so delirious doing the Poznans and enjoying ourselves that we didn't even notice Lingard had come on the pitch. He probably didn't touch it hardly anyway, so we couldn't have booed him or done anything like that. But if it was dead at 2-1, which it was, in all fairness, we could have held on for 2-1 comfortably in that game. At 3-1, but we had a little bonus, didn't we? I don't think, again, I've not got much written down after that 68-minute goal, but obviously we go to 90 minutes and a little bit of the icing on the cake, mate, wasn't it? Obviously, at the ground, everyone was going mad when that ball went in. I wasn't, because I saw the linesman's flag up, so I was sort of telling to people, sit down, lads, it's not a goal, it's not a goal. You know, I'm always looking at the linesman, even when it's VAR. What do you think of that goal from Mahrez? What a cracker.
Right on the line, wasn't he? And a perfectly timed run.
Brilliant run. I think his boot. I think the defender's boot was playing him onside, wasn't it? You could see his boot behind the figure of Mahrez. And what about his?
My lad's like you.
You know, we talked about
my lad.
Sorry, go on.
Go on. Yeah, my lad's like you. So I was going mad, and he's like, the linesman's flagged. He's offside. He got him from college today, and he went Lindelof was playing him on. I was like, oh, perfect.
Well, he nearly took De Gea's head off, mate, didn't he? We were on about things, high shots, De Gea not liking high shots, but he nearly took it. I mean, he smacked him. I mean, he nearly took his head off.
Yeah, it was a proper vicious shot, wasn't it? He really wanted it to go in.
I mean, he really meant that, didn't he, mate? I mean, he really meant to score that one. I mean, poor De Gea. Yeah. I think he'd actually been limping a little bit. I think he got a little injury in the build up to that, didn't he, De Gea?
I don't know.
Because then he went down after that goal, and it wasn't because he'd been smacked in the head. It's because he had a problem with his leg. And they did say on the comment, I listened back to some of the commentary today, and they said obviously he hadn't quite got back into position because he was still a little bit, obviously, from an incident. No foul. It just something happened where there was a coming together, and he obviously got a bit of a knock. But to say getting that ball blasted at his head. So there you go, 4-1. Yeah, for you, fantastic, because you won a bet. I wouldn't mind an old 5-1 or a 6-1. They're always nice to have, of course.
I thought, I think Cancelo's effort. Is it Cancelo who did that? That needs a mention. That was a nice. Yeah, that came from a corner, didn't it?
I think. No, I think it was outfield play. Yeah, and the thing, I call him the nearly man because again, it was nearly very good. But in all fairness, I thought it was an easy save for De Gea, so I wasn't impressed.
Right.
No, I thought Cancelo had a great game, to be honest with you. I have a bit of a downer on him recently. I think he's gone off the boil a little bit, but I thought he played really well defensively as well yesterday, Cancelo. But as a team, I think the City team was superb yesterday. You know, I couldn't say anyone was at fault for anything. Even for the goal, yes, there were certain things could have been done better, but I think it was I did put down here, was that one of our best displays of the season, do you think?
I think so. I don't know if it's just because they're really bad or we were really good, but I thought we played really well at their place. I thought we played really well yesterday. And like you say, after the last few games, maybe even 6 weeks or so where they've not been really at it, but still getting results, bar Spurs. It was nice to see, like I say, we're playing with that bit of swagger and a bit of flair again. And they looked like they really enjoyed themselves. So hopefully going to Palace or whatever, going forward, it comes back and we can just crack on.
I think it's a shame. I think it's quite a shame for Sterling, actually. I think Sterling might have enjoyed that as well as Grealish did yesterday, in all fairness. I would say it's one of Grealish's most competent, fun performances. I've seen him play better against other teams, but I think the overall, that left-hand side in that first half was where all the danger was coming from, and he was linking up superbly with Bernardo, who did, is it 15.7 miles he's covered in the last two derbies, the Old Trafford derby and this derby? I saw a story early in the week about him, though, and it didn't read well, mate, Stuart, for me. I'm reading between the lines. I still think he wants to go. Did you see any sort of report on that?
I saw it. I think someone posted it on Facebook, and he was saying about why he wanted to leave in the summer. But I think it was it not more his family wanted to leave Manchester?
Yeah, but he's not actually said, I'm happy now or anything like that. That's what worries me. He's not actually said anything to negate what the problem was. He said, of course, he'll put the effort. Of course, he'll play 110%. Of course, he'll every game for City. But I didn't see anything, and I scoured through that interview looking for any key words because I love Bernardo. We all love Bernardo, don't we? But I just didn't see anything to convince me that he doesn't, if he gets to the opportunity and someone offers enough money, let's face it, we won't let him go cheaply.
Yeah.
He just perhaps still wants to, even though he is happier. Of course he is, but which is a great shame. But I think no one will hold any grudges against Bernardo. The crowd was very good yesterday. I thought the fans were excellent. Obviously, in the family stand, joining in with the Poznan and stuff like this, which was quite incredible. We'll be there Wednesday night for this Champions League game. We'll be rattling round the stadium, won't we, with no noise? But it's amazing. Obviously, if you can't get up for a derby, we may as well give up.
If it's not rocking on the derby, and then when you outplay him and win 4-1, if it's not rocking, there's something wrong with us. But it's sold out Wednesday, I believe.
Is it?
I believe so.
30 quid a ticket for a dead rubber. I'm very surprised. So. I was on the site today. It still had tickets, but I didn't look how many. I don't go on and like these away fans. They go on and start checking how many tickets we've got left and stuff like that. I wouldn't even know how to do that. I'd be interested if it is, because at 30 quid a pop, I thought that was a bit expensive. But having said that, I did say, well, at the time, City didn't know it was going to be a dead rubber, and they had to price it accordingly when the tickets went on sale. So they can't suddenly say, "Oh, you paid 30 quid for a ticket. We're going to refund all the difference. They're going to be 15 quid or something like that." So you can't really blame it. And it is around the 16. So 30 quid is probably reasonable.
I thought it was quite reasonable. Yeah, I think I paid 30 for me and 15 for Milan. For 45 quid. It's not too bad.
Before we finish this mail, let's just have a quick word on United. Arsenal have now nipped into fourth. They got 3 games in hand over United, and they're a point ahead. Mr. Glazer, I don't think he's going to get the added funds of Champions League this year. What do you unless they win it, of course. Which, you don't always have to be the best team to win the Champions League. If they win it, I'll shave my head, but that's too late now, isn't it? I've got. What do you think, mate? Is that it for them? Is it 5th place? Is the best they can hope for based on what you saw yesterday?
Arsenal are a bit wishy-washy, though, aren't they, as well?
Yeah.
So you can never tell. But if Arsenal win 2 of them 3 games,
if they don't implode, if they just do enough, if they just sort of win enough and draw and lose a couple, they'll be fine. I don't know what sort of games they've got coming up, but as you say, you can't ever rely on Arsenal. You can't rely on West Ham. You can't rely on Tottenham, obviously. So the clubs in and around that spot, it's only Arsenal really that you're thinking perhaps they've hit some form now with Arteta. It took a while. But they seem to be getting a nice blend, don't they, of the youth, etc.
Yeah, and experience. Yeah, but United, they don't look great, and there's always talk in the press about players being unhappy.
I think you can see it. I think you can see the players are unhappy. Just I mean, it's not a happy bunch, is it?
No.
But I mean, for us, we don't care. I mean, we're happy. We're happy that they're not a happy bunch. It doesn't bother us one iota. No. All right, so there you go. That was Manchester City 4, United 1. That'll do for me. Right, we're going back to the Etihad, Stuart. We're going back to the Etihad on the 9th of March, 2022, 8 p.m. kickoff. You're there, are you, mate? You're at this one.
We're there, yeah. We're there.
Yeah, it's obviously it's going to be a nervy game. We're only 5-0 up from the first leg. We've got a Turkish referee, a Mr. Halil Umut. Mailer or something like that. He likes a yellow card or a red card. But yeah, he actually ref City's game against Marseille last season in the Champions League in the group stages, the 3-0 win. That we had. He didn't book any City players that game, so I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem. Although Sporting do like to leave a foot in, I remember from that first game, they're not averse to
being physical, isn't it? Towards the end.
Yeah, so obviously it may be tasty. Sporting themselves, Stuart. Obviously, I know you've obviously read up on how they've done since they played us. They actually lost the first leg of the Portuguese Cup to Porto at home, so that's not good. So even though they won the League Cup, they've already won the League Cup, so that's okay. They're equivalent to the League Cup, if you like. Yeah. So they are down to Porto, but they're still on the tails in the league. They've won a couple of league games and they've drawn one since we played them, so they've not been totally devastated by our 5-0 victory at their place. So they actually stand second now to Porto, 3 points behind, but they've actually played a game more, and Porto have a far better goal difference as well. So it's still going to be hard work for them. I mean, it'd be interesting for me. From their point of view, they want to leave the Etihad with a bit of pride, don't they? Let's be honest about it. The last time they got beat 5-0 at home in the round of 16, Bayern Munich then beat them 7-1 in the home leg. So they won't be wanting that. I don't think City will do that anyway. I don't think we'll play a team perhaps capable of doing that against if Sporting play a half decent game. But do you think they'll go strong? Do you think for this pride he will go strong, or is he likely? Would you be likely to play sort of younger players and still try and think he's got the league and an equivalent of an FA Cup semi-final second leg to come? What do you think their thoughts are on this one? When you're 5-0 down, what exactly do you go? Is it a free pass? You can go out and attack, or what? What do you think they're thinking it'll be?
For Lisbon, I think they'll come and have a go, because, like you say, they're going to want to come with leave with a bit of pride, aren't they? I don't know if we go mega strong. I don't know. You can't tell, can you? Because they're out, aren't they? They're not going to win 6-0. They're out. Don't say they're not going to win 6-0. You could put me in goal and they wouldn't win 6-0.
Well, put it this way, I just hope they don't come and start being a little bit dirty, because we don't, obviously, the state we're in at the moment with the squad getting a bit strung out, certainly with Aki and Diaz missing at the moment. I'm not too sure how long Aki's supposed to be out for. I know Diaz is 4 to 6. Is he the same as Diaz?
I just know Diaz is 6 weeks, but I don't know.
No, Diaz is 4 to 6, but I think Pep intimated that Aki could come back a bit quicker and be available. So that really brings us to the City team, and we're in trouble. I think we're in a bit of trouble here, Stuart, because I can't see him playing many kids in this. It's not his way. I don't know how many. All the kids could play in theory, because they don't have to be in the Champions League squad, do they, as such, or the name numbers, because they're under a certain age and stuff like that.
23s, I think, and they can have as many as they want.
But if you look at the bench, that we played against United. Obviously, the 3 young lads on the bench for that game were Mbatti, who's a centre half. He's a centre half, so there's a potential there for him to play alongside, say, Stones or Laporte.
Yeah.
Would he risk that? Possibly. Delap was on the bench. Is he going to give Delap a go up front and give one of the midfielders a rest up front? And he obviously had McAtee, which I think is probably more likely of the 3 to start the game. McAtee, don't you? Or would you disagree with that?
I think all 3 will start.
Do you think all 3, honestly?
Because I don't think he's going to want to play both his only 2 fit senior centre.
Well, that's it. It's a quandary, isn't it? I mean, he could move. He can't do anything with Walker. He's not there. He could move Ferner in theory into a centre half position, but then he'd have to play Rodri, wouldn't he? Surely.
Yeah. I could see Fernandinho in for Rodri, either Laporte or Stones out, and then Mbatti in, and then McAtee playing as well, and Delap.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ederson's going to start. There's nothing, no doubt about that. I don't think, and with goalkeepers, usually all right with goalkeepers fit.
And he didn't have much of a run out at the weekend.
Yeah, that's true. He was sat crouched watching the game, most of it on the halfway line, from what I could see, which was an interesting position. Yeah, it is a funny one. I mean, I think obviously Zinchenko's head's okay. He played against Peterborough. I think Zinchenko will move into the defence, so that's not a problem. He can move in, but literally we are struggling because I can't see anyone out of Mbeti, Delap and McAtee. I can't see any other youngsters coming into the reckoning for starting the game. I can't see anyone else. I mean, he could play.
Still injured, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's still out. But the only other thing is obviously don't forget against Wickham, he played the back four from the under-23s, didn't he? But he's not going to do that, is he? He's not going to do that.
You never know, but I can't see that happening, but you never know. But I think as long as he's got an half-decent spine and he puts them three in, I think should be all right.
Yeah. I mean, I've just gone for McAtee. I don't think he'll risk the other two. I think up front it's not too bad because he's got Sterling, Jesus, and Grealish who haven't played many games anyway. So I say it's only the thoughts of injuries could be a problem. But if one of those three gets injured, we've still got your Bernardos and KDBs and stuff like that. And KDB's actually, I don't think he'll play anyway, but he's actually, if he gets booked again, he'll miss a game. So he's under suspension. And Cancelo's the same as well. I can see Cancelo playing this, but he's the same. If he gets booked, he'll miss the next game as well. So we do have a couple of players on bookings. But it will be interesting to see what Pep plays. I mean, personally, if I went for a score prediction with that sort of team, I would say a 2 or 3-0. I don't think it's going to be a 7-1 like Bayern Munich did to them. And who's to know, they might, if they do go for it, if Sporting go for it, I think they managed 3 shots at their place against us, which was pretty pathetic, wasn't it? Let's be fair about it, and none on target. So you'd think they might make a better fist of it at our place, a little bit of pride. I assume they'll have some fans there as well. So, they'll want to at least put some sort of effort in. So I would say a 2 or 3-0, or even push to a 3-1 or something like that. Would you agree, or do you think we're going to absolutely baster them again?
No, I agree with you. I think it'll be quite the boring night. I think the players will be just going through the motions, trying not to get injured. Yeah. Some of them, if they're on trying not to get booked, I think it'll just be one of them, and they'll pass it about a bit, and I think they'll slot a few away. But I think we might, like you say, we might get caught because they could smell an opportunity if we played a weakened side, not really up for it. They'll get a goal. They get a goal or two, maybe.
Well, I think one of my little charity bets that I do on a regular basis this week will be both teams to score again. I think there's a chance in a funny game to predict. I think that's probably, say, you don't know the teams or anything. It's hard to judge what's going to happen. I think that's a fairly safe bet. They should probably get one, which, as I said, they more than they managed at home. But, it is a funny one. But I say it is. I mean, at least we can relax watching it and not get too stressed out unless they go 3-0 up or something in 10 minutes. And then we might have to worry a little bit then. But
if we get beat 6-0, my stepdad will implode.
And then we'll see what happens for the quarterfinals. Fingers crossed. See what happens there. We'll probably get Liverpool or something like that. No doubt.
When's the draw for that? Is that in another couple of weeks?
I'm not too sure. Because the other round's got to be played as well, hasn't it? The other guys. Yeah. So I'd imagine it'd be after that, the Thursday, the Friday after that. Right, let's look at the last what we're going to look at now. Our last one, another big league game, another funny place for City, Crystal Palace, Selhurst Park. We play there on the 14th of March 2022, 8 p.m. kickoff. I'll be there. I've got my ticket for that one. First time I've ever been to Selhurst Park, so I'm looking forward to that. Although I believe travelling down's a bit of a pain, but I'm looking forward to that. I've heard lots of horror stories. Have you been to Crystal Palace, Stuart?
I went when I was at school. I think it was a League Cup game on a Wednesday night, and I think John Solarco ripped us to pieces. We got hammered, and then the car cut out on the way up, and I had to miss. So I missed half a day of school to get there, and then I had to miss the whole next day of school because we didn't go home until like 5 a.m.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, I'm not in work the next day, thankfully, so I don't mind what time I get home. Although I may have problems for Southampton, which I believe is now on a Sunday afternoon, so I might be struggling with that one to get cover at work, so I might not be able to go, but we'll have to see. Yes, so Crystal Palace, let's have a quick chat about them. They're in 10th at the moment, Stuart. They've played 28, won 7, drawn 12, lost 9. Of course, they got the wonderful Mr. Vieira in charge, who some City fans think one day may come back to us. We'll talk about whether he's doing a good job or not in a minute. they've got an FA Cup semi-final potential, haven't they? Because they've got a quarter-final against Everton, so there's certainly a chance for Palace to make an FA Cup semi-final. You got to think they can beat Everton, who are not in the greatest shape at the moment. So they've got a chance of getting to Wembley, which will be nice for Palace fans. But the last few games, the last 6 games, they drew 1-1 with Norwich away. They drew 0-0 with Brentford away. They lost to Chelsea at home just 1-0. They beat Watford away 4-1. They drew at home with Burnley 1-1, and they beat Wolves very well the last game at the weekend. They beat Wolves 2-0 at their place. So a bit mixed, Stuart. I mean, Vieira got a lot of plaudits, but they seem to be a bit inconsistent. Have you seen anything or any things with Palace? I mean, obviously they've still got Zaha, haven't they? He's still knocking about.
Yeah, I've not seen much of him, but he seems to be doing all right. I think 10th is about where they should be. I think they did all right against us, did a bit of a number on us at the home game earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah, they beat us 2-0. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough one. It was a bit like the Southampton game,
wasn't it? But yeah, it was. They did the job.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but like you say, they did the job, and I think he's doing all right. And like as you were saying, I think the plan originally was Vieira to come back to City at one point. He went New York City, didn't he, for like his training and all that. But I don't think he did too well there. But he seems to be doing all right at Palace. I don't mind Palace. They're doing all right, and think if we play to our full potential, we should win the game.
Yeah, because it has been a little bit of banana skin a couple of times. We've won the last 2 times there, but obviously we've drawn a couple of 0-0s in the last 4 or 5 seasons, and we've also lost 2-1 there. But so it's not been all roses at Crystal Palace. But I think it's a bit like the United game. I was saying before the United game that when it matters, we beat them. At the Etihad when it matters. We've not been beaten, and Pep hinted at it. He said the same, didn't he? Yesterday, I was mentioned last week. When it matters, we beat them. And Palace is the same. I think when it matters, we can beat them. Obviously, was that famous one where they had a last-minute penalty? Well, that was one of the 0-0s, wasn't it? Remember that? Was it a few years back when they had a last-minute penalty and it looked as though we were going to lose our
yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
That was what. So there's something hanging on that, but it is one of those places that usually we haven't got Yaya now, of course, to knock the ball in, or Sergio. But it is a sort of place we seem to be able to turn up for, which is nice to see. But I say it won't be easy. None are now, are they, mate? I mean, every time we play, I worry. Obviously, Liverpool Liverpool fans are probably thinking exactly the same. They scraped past West Ham, of course, last week, even though West Ham missed quite a few chances, I believe. I didn't see the game, so. We're both doing it. We're both putting it in, and it's up to us to keep winning because obviously we seem to have that game more, and Liverpool can't catch up at the moment. So we need to be. As United was a must-win game, Crystal Palace definitely before the break. We have an FA Cup game, of course, but the last league game before the break, we've got to. This is another must-win, Stuart.
Every game from now on to the end of the season is must-win. I don't think Liverpool will drop many points. I think maybe the only game Liverpool will lose for the rest of the season is the one against us, and but you just never know, do you? I think we'll drop maybe a few points between now and the end of the season. I don't see us dropping many. I don't see Liverpool dropping many. Like I say, you've got to win every game, and it's pressure for a minute, but that's why they get paid the big bucks, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's face it. If Pep's team, and he will put his strongest team available, he's not going to do any funny things with this one, is he? Sure, he's not going to start resting players or not playing Walker and things like this. He's going to play his best team, his strongest team, and obviously, if we show, perhaps half of what we did against United as far as commitment was concerned, and actually getting bodies in the box, and our midfielders becoming super strikers all of a sudden and hitting the target. We'll play a strong team, and we should get the 3 points with a bit of luck, Stuart.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, hitting it first time from the edge of the box, maybe that's a new ploy that they've taken on because they know teams pack the box, don't they, against us, because they think we're going to pass it in. They sit quite deep and they just try and stifle us. So maybe now they're going to look at it and they're going to think, we can't even do that anymore because now the order's going to come and just smack it from the edge of the box and it's going to take a deflection and possibly go in, or they'll get a rebound. So it might draw teams out a little bit more. So it's probably playing to our hands against these, because I thought they defended quite well against us in the home time.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope we get revenge. And it's not, obviously Tottenham have done the double over us this season. Let's hope Crystal Palace are not the team to do a double over us, because that will definitely dent our title ambitions. As I say, I want to go into that Liverpool game being at least still being top, even if they beat us. It'd be a hard, obviously I don't know if Liverpool can play their catch-up game in the meantime, or they might even get further behind us. I'm not too sure how it works out with the various things, but should be very interesting. Anyway, thanks, Stuart, mate. Thanks for joining me today. Anything we've not chatted that took your eye, or anything that we've not talked about?
No, not City related. I don't think. I think just just keep on plugging away the way we are, and hopefully we can win the league.
Yeah, well, absolutely fantastic. Thanks for joining me, Stuart, and I hope everyone out there has enjoyed this little offering of me and Stuart rattling on. Hopefully we'll have another extra one next week, or an extra two. We used to have to tell people they couldn't do it, Stuart. I don't know what's going on here, and now all of a sudden, we're down to two a show. We'll have to get better. We'll have to improve, like City's midfielders at striking at goal. We'll have to improve as well. But thanks, Stuart, anyway, and thanks to everyone watching this. Hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in again next week for the Good Kompany podcast here on the local TV network for Manchester TV. And it only left for me and Stuart to wish you all the very best. Stay safe and up the Blues.